tell you what, it is on body camera and video.
And everybody's watching.
Oh my God!
Get on the ground! You're gonna get bit!
Looks like they may attack her.
I'm allowed to break the law.
Somebody secure my glasses, my body camera's on it.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Sean Larkin of the Tulsa PD Gang Unit, but most people just call me Sticks. This is PD Cam, the show that gives you a raw look at police stories from all over the country, told from the law enforcement officer's point of view. Let's get this started in Las Vegas, Nevada, where an officer is pulling up outside a pawn shop and a robbery is in progress. This incident was caught on 2 body cams and a helicopter camera. Now remember, none of what you're about to see was shot with a professional camera.
The male by himself appears still whispering. She's calling from underneath the cabinet in front of the store.
Now that's the 911 dispatcher who's on the phone with the witness, giving the officers the information.
Yeah, they're right here.
Is he still in there?
Spring Valley. Suspect in over heavy build, black jacket, unarmed pants. Let me confirm if that means inside the store. The suspect has a motorcycle helmet. It might be related to the 407 series.
Now, the first officer on the scene on a robbery is typically waiting for other officers to get there so they can contain it rather than try to go in.
Laying down some roads and closing down businesses in their surrounding area.
Just before backup arrives, the suspect comes out of the pawn shop with the hostage.
Let me see your hands! Come! Let me see your hands!
Control 848, we're giving verbal command. Coming out.
He's got a hostage! He's got a hostage!
848 in
Control Air 5, he has a white female hostage. They're tussling on the south side.
Now, it's difficult to see, but the hostage grabs the suspect's gun, causing it to fire. The hostage runs to safety. Now, that's when the officers begin firing.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Now the suspect reaches for a second gun.
All right, the suspect's down. He's still holding the weapon. Do not approach. He still has a weapon in his hand. Do not approach.
Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop it! Let me see your hands! Drop the gun!
Suspect still has weapon.
All right, the weapon is still slung to his hands. They're on the south side of the super pawn.
Hold! 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 Do not reach for the weapon or I will shoot you!
The hostage was shaken but uninjured, and the Las Vegas Police Department praised her for bravery and credited her actions for saving her own life. The suspect was treated for a police-inflicted gunshot wound before being charged with robbery with a deadly weapon, burglary while in possession of a gun, and 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, as well as kidnapping with a deadly weapon in the first degree. He is currently awaiting trial. Next up, we have a chilling story from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where an officer has just pulled over a driver for a possible DWI. Fair warning, the footage you're about to see is shocking.
Turn it off.
The suspect immediately pulls a firearm on the officer, and the officer engages back. And now the suspect is fled on foot. This is an officer's worst nightmare, an otherwise basic traffic stop that suddenly becomes a life or death situation.
745 David PD. Start. San Mateo Lane. Just been 27-8'd.
27-8 is the code for a shooting with this police department.
WMA, blue jacket.
Now, even after that officer's been shot, he's working to ID what he can. He's communicating the suspect's clothing and the direction of travel that he ran.
Running northbound San Mateo with a blue hat, blue jeans.
It's amazing how calm this officer is after being shot.
Ah!
He's a 7.
431. Take us off our call. We're just north of him. Is he still running northbound? Yes. Ah. Ah.
Now, it turns out that the car he pulled over is actually stolen.
It hurts. Ah.
Now, the backing officers have arrived on scene, and they're checking to make sure the suspect is gone before they help the injured officer.
He's gone. Ah. Yeah, my leg hurts. My arm hurts. My right leg. I think he hit my fucking gun. I don't see it on the
Direction of travel.
north. Ah.
The officer was shot 4 times, once in the abdomen and 3 times in his vest. He also suffered a broken wrist and a broken femur from his fall and required several surgeries before making a full recovery. The suspect in this case, he was apprehended 4 days later when officers checked on a man stumbling in the street. He was later connected to this crime through DNA and fingerprint evidence. He pled guilty to shooting from a motor vehicle and aggravated assault on a police officer, and he was sentenced to almost 18 years in prison for being an armed career criminal unlawfully in possession of a firearm. Next, we're heading to California, where the Contra Costa Sheriff's Office deployed their helicopter with paramedics on board in response to a call of a hiker experiencing chest pains. One rescuer is dropped and makes his way to the hiker. Meanwhile, the helicopter prepares for the extraction.
Copy that. How we doing, sir? So what's your name, sir? Bill? And how old are you? Okay.
Now, after the rescuer on the ground has prepared the hiker for the airlift, a second pararescuer is lowered from the helicopter to help him out. In addition to providing assistance to the ground deputies, the helicopter team conducts regular patrols of the Contra Costa Hills and Bay Area, specifically looking for stranded boaters or hikers in danger. You can see there that these guys have their cameras mounted right on their helmets. Now, the gentleman at the bottom with the orange helmet on, that's the distressed hiker. You see on the bottom right of the screen there? That's the ambulance waiting to take the hiker to the hospital. Thanks to this rescue performed by the Special Unit Response Team, the hiker was able to get treatment and has since made a full recovery. Next, we're headed to the Florida Peninsula. Ocala police were responding to a residential alarm when they heard 10 to 15 gunshots ring out nearby. This incident was all caught on one of the officers' body cameras.
What kind of car that be? Y'all know. They said it was a white car.
The officer wastes no time responding to the victim while they gather information about the incident.
No, just calm down.
You can see that the teenager's losing blood quickly, so officers apply a tourniquet to help stop the flow.
I want to find it.
Now, many officers, including myself, carry a tourniquet with them for situations like this or even for themselves.
Okay, listen. It's going to be a little bit of pressure, all right? I got it.
So now they've got a tourniquet applied above the wound, and they've also applied a towel to put pressure on it.
Give me a... You got one? A bandage? Yeah, I need a...
No.
Hold on, buddy. Cotton. Compressed gauze. I got that. Hold on, buddy. Don't move, all right? This is important. We got to stop the bleeding, all right?
I need some water.
How old are you?
19.
19.
I need some water.
Lift this leg up.
One more wrap before you twist.
I know.
One more wrap and twist. I got some on my foot too, I think. Okay, we'll work on that next. It's not important. All right, now to give a twist over there.
Where'd it go? Get his feet elevated.
Sit there.
There you go. Hold his foot up here.
Put it up here. I ain't studying his blood. Just my baby to see him every day.
Hey, listen. You feel it in this leg here, both sides? Do you feel it in this leg over here too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, but you feel it in your feet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Do you feel like you're hit anywhere else?
Can you feel me touching you?
Yeah.
You can?
Okay.
On both feet?
All right. This is the one we had to make sure of. Okay, that was your bleeder. All right. You got a femoral artery that runs up there, and we needed to stop that bleeding.
Yeah.
It's gonna be painful right now. He's got entrance here, exit here, entrance here. This was the heavy bleeder. I got tourniquet applied, probably about 10 minutes.
The shooting victim was transported by ambulance to the hospital where he made a full recovery. The officers, they each received a life-saving award for their efforts. 9 days later, a 14-year-old suspect was arrested and charged with second-degree attempted murder and possession of a firearm by a delinquent felon. Next up, we find ourselves in Seagoville, Texas, where it's 1:30 in the morning and an officer on the graveyard shift has noticed smoke coming out of a house.
Fire here on Casa Grande, fully engulfed. There's people inside. I need help.
This terrifying event was captured entirely on the officer's body camera.
It's gonna be 7:18. 7:18 is catching the neighbor's house on fire. I need help. Hey, is everybody out? Is everybody out? Is everybody out? Where are they at? They're inside? Yeah. 42, I got people inside that are trapped.
There are actually 2 adjoined houses here on fire, one of which has 5 children asleep inside.
42, I'm going inside the house. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, come out here. Come out here. Come out. Is this door not open?
That's the father of the 5 children in the red shirt. His sister and brother-in-law live in the house next door, which has also caught on fire.
Hey, we can't get inside there. It's too hot. Where are they at?
That guy in the blue shirt is a neighbor.
We need, like, back here.
While he runs around back with the officer, the father is able to get the adults safely out of the house next door.
Hey!
Cody!
Open the door! Break that glass.
Cody!
Break that glass.
There's kids in there.
I know. Break
Cody!
Here, break this glass. Watch out. I'm gonna break this glass. Get out! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! To the right.
Once inside, the neighbor runs to get 3 of the boys while the father and the officer wake the other 2.
Boys, wake up. Come on.
You, I'm inside the house.
Come on.
Come on.
Boys, come on.
Come on. It's okay.
Go. Get up. Get up.
We got kids inside here. Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
It's okay. Come on.
Come on.
Get up.
Get up. Get up. Come on.
Get up.
Come on. Back here.
Go.
Let's go. Come on. Come on. Right back here. Y'all be right back here. Y'all are okay. Hey. No. No. Back here. Back here. No. Come on.
The kids are very scared and disoriented. One of them, half asleep, even tries to run back inside.
Here, come on. Come on. Come on. Everybody, come on. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Everybody's out.
Though the house was completely destroyed, the officers' swift actions that night saved the lives of the entire family. And with me now in the studio from that rescue is Officer Sam Click. Man, thank you for being here on PD Cam with us. So, Sam, that night you're out on patrol?
Just out patrolling on my regular beat. Came across it as it was fully engulfed. I heard the female screaming. Immediately went up there, asked her if there was anybody inside. She told me that somebody was inside.
How many people were in the house when this happened?
I believe it was 5 kids ranging between the ages of 7 and 6 months.
So you're strictly in a rescue mode at that point?
Absolutely. It was just to preserve life and get everybody outside, get away from the home. The smoke was unbelievable. I believed at that time it was best just to take action and go in and just take care of business at that time.
Do you know what the cause of the fire was?
They stated that it was a dryer that had actually caught fire in the detached garage, and then it spread to the front of the house.
Wow.
Hey, come out here! Come out here!
No one actually ever called 911. Even during the fire, no one actually called 911.
Still no one did? No. And is that the father that's out there running around with you
Yes.
in the video outside?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's also a neighbor that came running up in the blue shirt.
Hey!
Now, the first door, is that actually like the front door that you had gone to, and you can see the flames and the smoke kind of billowing out, and you knew obviously you couldn't get in there?
So what it actually is that's an actual condo type deal, and so those are actually split homes.
Okay.
So there's actually 2 homes in the same building. When I went to that first door, that actually went into the wrong home. Then the other person, the neighbor, showed me where to go.
Open the door! Break that glass. Jody! Break that glass.
He's screaming into the door to try to wake him up, but...
Right.
Watch out, I'm gonna break this glass.
Would you use
So
your flashlight? Asp?
I'll go with my asp.
Just break the glass out and then reach in and unlock it.
Unlock it.
Hey, come on! Boys! Boys, wake up, come on.
The kids are all sleeping on bunk beds right here. There's 2 on the bottom, and then there's 2 on top.
Go. Get up, get up. We've got kids inside here, come on, man.
I'm actually talking to my sergeant there. He's telling me to get out. He's telling me to get out because he's at the front of the complex, I guess you could say, looking at it.
And seeing the flames.
Seeing the flames, and there's no way to get to me at this point as it is spread.
Right. And he obviously is telling you to get out, not knowing that you're back there with
in the
kids
back,
inside the
yes,
house trying
yes.
to get them out. Yeah.
Hey, no.
So we're running to the backyard, and right here, one of the kids runs back into the home. I grabbed him, and I remember picking him up, and he just wrapped his hands like around my throat pretty much, just to try to get away from me.
Not knowing what's going
Yeah,
on.
he was in fear.
Come on. Everybody's out.
That was actually my first time to actually watch the entire footage of it.
So here today was your first time watching it as well?
Yes, sir.
Was anybody injured even at all that night from smoke or any of the flames at all?
Nobody was injured at all. The last that I heard about a week ago is the family did move out of the city and moved in with a relative. They're still trying to get onto their feet. The mother was working nights. That's why she actually wasn't at home. And the dad was taking care of the kids at home asleep, obviously.
That's what's so amazing about it is the kids, I mean, you can see them still sound asleep, you know, and for us that are watching this, the viewers, I mean, you can hear the sounds of the fire going on or you banging on the door, breaking glass, and they were just sleeping right through the whole thing, which could have been terrible, obviously.
Oh, it could have been, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, right place at the right time.
Well, Sam, great job out there, man. Right place, right time, and definitely had an impact on these people's lives for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's it for this episode of PD Cam. I'm Sergeant Sean Larkin. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.